Hello, good evening. How are you all doing? Let me see what we're up to today. Okay, today we're going to be covering once again some writing error correction. This is going to be for the English First Certificate, but it could be for any exam really. It's just an example of one of the writing questions that you can get on quite a few of the exams that you get. Escuela de Idiomas, the the First Certificate or the PET, Preliminary English Test. You can get writings like this. So start off by telling you if you want to find any of these videos, I tend to re-upload them once I finish the live. I will put it again on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. I've just finished work, so I've been speaking all day and I'm going to be speaking a bit more. So yeah, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, TikTok, everything, all my socials, Twitch, X, Facebook. Don't even go on Facebook much anymore. Don't particularly like Facebook, but I still have a page on there it's at Isla Idiomas for all of them. My website for my business in the south of Tenerife, which is an academy in Playa San Juan, Tenerife, is islaidiomas.com. This website, classroomgames.net, is for materials that I tend to make and upload to share with other teachers and people that if you're studying, you can, just have a look at stuff on there. And there are games that you can play with each other or on your own just to practice English. Okay? So this is a question for the English First Certificate B2 Writing Part 1, which is the compulsory question. Okay, you have to write between 140 and 190 words. Try not to go under or over the limits that are set for you. 140 to 190 words, so 138 words, no, you will lose points for that. 192 words, you would also lose points for. So don't be tempted to write more than you need to. Okay, for this question, you're given an essay title and two ideas that are clearly linked to the title, and you must also add a third. Now, this is for the First Certificate. Sometimes they give you three ideas that you have to mention. Sometimes I might give you two. They give you some information, but remember to read the question for your particular exam. Yeah. So a third different idea of your own linked to the title. The title will be a subject of general interest, so it won't be something that you need specialised knowledge for. Okay, this is the example question we're doing today. We've already done questions on fashion in the past and on the environment. Today we're going to look at another question that they tend to ask, which is about learning languages. These are subjects that you will often find. Okay, thank you for your likes, your shares, or any gifts that you send or anything like that. I'll say that first of all. Likes and follows, please, if you like what I'm doing. Yeah, because I'm trying to get up to 10,000 followers as quickly as possible so that I can start earning money on the Creator Fund in order to fund classes for people that pay for classes that people who can't afford to take English classes here in Tenerife. So it's to help people that can't afford to come to classes but need to go to classes in order to improve their English for work. So that's my goal. If you can help me with that by sharing my page or my videos, or liking as much as you can, commenting, or especially following along so that I can get up to that goal as quickly as possible. Okay, so here we are. Our example question is about learning languages. So it says, in your English class, you have been talking about learning languages. Now your English teacher has asked you to write an essay for homework. Okay, so your essay you have to write an essay using all the notes. So this is what you have to remember, using all the notes. Oh, like all the watermelons, lovely. Thank you for joining. Okay, so the question is, there are more reasons to learn a foreign language than just pass a test. So that's a statement you're giving. There should be open. There are more reasons to learn a foreign language than just to pass a test. Do you agree? So you have to say whether you agree and give reasons. You need to write about, while you're saying that, pleasure of learning a language. Whether or not it's a personal challenge, you should mention a personal challenge. And then you need to mention an idea of your own. So you need to sort of think about different things you could talk about when you're with learning languages. If you have any ideas now, then please, you can stick comments in of things that you would write about. Okay. Then, so it says, there are more reasons to learn a foreign language than pass a test. So this is what someone has written. And what they will do, what we're going to do is correct this text and then see how this text relates to the actual question. So whether or not it answers the question that we have been given, which is, there are more reasons to learn a foreign language than just pass a test. Do we agree? And so we have to use all the notes here and give our reasons for using it. So this person has started with a quote, which is nice. To start any essay with a quote is a lovely thing to do. It looks very nice. Remember, we're writing an essay, so it will be formal. So we need to use formal writing. Yeah, so we have to think about how we want it to sound and what sort of things we use during formal writing. So there are more reason to learn foreign language than pass a test. Okay, can anyone see any errors in this? Okay, there are more reason to learn foreign language than pass a test. Well, if we're talking there are, first of all, there are is usually for many things. There is for one thing. Yeah, for one thing. There are for many things. So there are more reason would have to be reasons. Okay, reason would be plural because there are is referring to plural things. There are more reasons to learn foreign language. So if reasons is plural, then also we need to pluralize languages. More reasons to learn foreign languages than pass a test. Than, I would say, than to just pass a test would be nicer. But there are more reasons to learn languages than pass a test would be okay. But I would add to just pass a test because it's saying there are more reasons than just doing this. It says everything. So then we're going to our first paragraph. Everything around us revolves around languages. Now that sounds okay. Everything around us revolves around languages. Everything is a thing. It's it. So revolves has the third person S, which is fine. Everything around us revolves around languages, comma. It is the more important thing in our lives. Well, we've just talked about languages, which are plural, many languages. So it would be wrong. We would say they. And if it isn't it is, then it would have to be they are. Okay, they are the more important. Now, more important would be more important than something else. It's a comparative. And this is talking about something more important thing in our life. So it's like not comparing it to anything else. It's actually superlative. It's a superlative. It should be most here. So this should be most. So they are the most important thing in our lives. So everything around us revolves around languages. They are the most important thing in our lives. They are the most important thing. Languages are things. They are the most important things because it's languages in our lives. Well, lives, this is life. If we're pluralizing it, then things in our lives. Yeah, that's right, Thomas. Excellent. Most important things. Lives. Really. Those are the most important. Those are, yeah, you could say those are, but they said it, so I changed it to they. There are often more than one answer for these things. Not everything is cut and dry, as in there is one answer or another. There can be more than one. So those are the most important things in our lives, would be okay as well. Society would just not function without it. Society would just not function without it. That sounds okay to me. Does it sound okay to anyone else, or do you have another way to say that? I mean, there are different ways of saying everything. Yeah, there are synonyms, and society would just not function without it. Maybe society just would not function without it as well would be fine. So you could change the what's the them? Without them, yeah, if we're talking about things, yeah, we could change it for them, without them. Languages. Yeah, I'd agree with that. See, I'll tell you this now. I've not seen this text before. I downloaded it today. I didn't read through it because I wanted to correct it at the same time as you. Okay, so we're all correcting it together. So yeah, would just not function without them. Okay, they are our future. So we've got they again. They are our future. And I would personally love learning as many as I possibly can. I think I just gave an answer there because I naturally read it as it should be. Personally, yeah, that's correct, Jelly. Is it Jelly or Jelly? Is it the double L, Spanish double L or not? I would personally love to learn, because when we've got two, we're not going to have ing after it. Love to learn or love learning. Both are fine, but if you're going to say learning, you have to say love learning. You choose one or the other. You either choose the ing or you choose the two. Okay? I would personally love to learn, and because we put it, I would personally love to learn as many I possibly can. All of learning, yeah, Thomas, that's correct. I would personally love learning or love to learn as many I possibly can. As many as, yep, that's correct. As many as I possibly can. Oh, going out of focus there because it's focusing on my hand. I have to hold my phone because I haven't got a stand that will hold it in the correct position for this. Anyway. So we're starting our second. Well, has this said anything about these three things? Personal challenge or pleasure? Everything revolves around languages. It says, I would personally love to learn as many as I possibly can. So maybe it could be number one. That it's answered. Maybe it's just an introduction. Let's see what else is said. Not everything in life is done because it is necessary. Life. Yeah. Thought you might get that one. Not everything in life, la vida. Yeah, not everything. People often confuse live and life. Live, live and life. Yeah, if I put it over here, live. I'm using recycled paper so you can see it. Live, life, and live. Live is spelt the same. Live en directo in Spanish. I don't know. Live como vivir, and life as in la vida. So live, life, leave as well. Yeah, good one, leave, but that's leave, which has the long I, and this has the long, this has I, doesn't it? Because it's got the magic E, so it's changing the I sound, the magic. Do you know about the magic E? And leaf. You're adding to them now. Do you all know about the magic E? Because I tell this to my students. In English, when you're at school, when I was at school, in primary school, they told us to tell you in phonetics about the magic E. Now, the magic E is an E at the end of a word that you don't sound, and it changes the sound of the vowel before it. So the easiest, what it does is it changes it to I find the easiest way to explain it to people that aren't English. So you have, if I write down the capitals of the vowels, the way we pronounce these, or the way we call these vowels, is A, E, I, O, U. That's their names, A, E, I, O, U. And the way they sound, like little letters, would be A, E, I, O, O. Okay? A, E, I, O, O is how they sound when they're in words, when they're in little letters. Whereas the capital letter sounds like A, E, I, O, U. So if I have a word like life, for example, life, we don't sound the E at all. So this E is called a magic E because it's not lif anymore. We change the sound of the I to a capital sound, to I. This is how I pronounce them in my language in Latin. Well, E, I, O. Is that how? That's how we speak when we speak in words. So live, I, yeah. Or we might have think of another word off the top of my head. Note. Now, without the E, it would be not. Not. But the E changes the sound of that to, rather than O, to O. Note. Okay? And this is how a lot of children in school are taught to learn how to pronounce English. And so it's quite interesting or quite good to know this particular rule, which they call it the magic E, because children like things that magic, yeah? So here we have live, but this is live. So this is the verb, whereas this is a substantivo, a noun, to live en directo, yeah? So you pronounce that live, I. And this has the EA and EE together. When you get two E's together or an EA together, we pronounce it like the long I, which is the E sound. It is a cool trick, isn't it? It's a really good trick to know. And a lot of people just don't talk about it. Don't it doesn't occur to them to mention it because, you know, people aren't kids anymore. But what is the difference between live and life? Live life or live. So this is a hard V. It's a V sound. V. I can't turn the camera around in the middle. If you put your let me try. I'll try and turn the camera around a second. Where is it? Here. You're putting them there. V sound. Okay, that's where your teeth go when you're doing a V in live. In life, your teeth are going just behind your lip here. Life. It's more of an air sound. We have two types of sounds. You have voiced sounds and unvoiced sounds. Unvoiced sounds are sounds that you make with air from your lungs going through your mouth. Life. The first sound is an unvoiced sound, and you can tell which is a voiced sound and which is an unvoiced sound by putting your hand in front of your mouth when you say the word. So when you say the letter. So if you say a f, you can feel air on your hands. I bet you're all at home doing this now, aren't you? Yeah. If you say a voiced sound like v, which is your teeth a bit further forward on your lip, and you hold your vocal cords, you will feel your vocal cords moving. So you go v, you feel it here. Whereas if I go f, if I do the F sound and feel here, I feel nothing. F, v, f, v, okay? If I do the same, if I do f, I feel air. If I go v, I feel no air. Try it yourself, and you'll feel the difference between voiced and unvoiced consonants. So voiced are ones that are made with your voice, unvoiced are made with air, and you can feel them. This is very, very important for pronunciation of words that end in ed. Okay, we're going off from correcting writings to pronunciation. Okay, this is very important for. I'll show you now. If I turn this back round, I'm tapping the screen, messing around. Okay, so back on this paper, if I show you if you have different unvoiced and voiced consonants, but all your ed, your regular verbs. So if I said something like watched, and I put ed on the end, watched. This has a t sound. Watched. And that's because this sound is an unvoiced sound. Watch. You can feel it if you go on and hold your hand in front of your face, you'll feel the air, and therefore you have the t sound. If you have another word, let me look for one on the paper that we've got. If I put, stemmed, for example, if something stems from something else. Hi there, Melia. Spanked. Yeah, spanked. What a great word. Thank you, Hedge. Yeah, stemmed. Yeah, this ed has a d sound. Stemmed. Spanked. Yeah, spanked. Spanked. That has a, what sound does that? Spank. aire. You get aire coming out for the K. So it's an air sound. It's unvoiced, unvoiced. This is a T sound. Okay. Hola, ¿eres española? No, yo no soy española, pero yo vivo en España y llevo 23 años aquí. When the word not ending a vowel, is it pronounced T? Well, I don't understand what you mean by that. I'm a fellow ESL teacher. The Spanish struggle a lot with the ED sounds. Yes, they do. And this is, I have a whole class on this, on doing the ED sounds. I have a whole plan, lesson plan for it, which I've done many times. I would like to become B2. Well, I'm sure if you practice a lot, I'm B1 level, but I can't speak because I'm scared. You know, a really good place to, if you cannot afford to go to classes, there is an app that you can get called Tandem, okay, and it matches people up so you can speak to people in English people trying to learn Spanish, and they will. I did this when I was practicing for my B2. I used Tandem, and it's a language exchange thing, and it's good if you haven't got a lot of money. Then I would recommend it to because the more you speak, the better you will sort of soltar. Yeah, you gain confidence. You need to speak a lot in order to get better at speaking. You need to read a lot to get better at reading. You need to listen a lot to get better at listening. So use things like Netflix, use apps, use Duolingo, use anything you can. But also, if you can afford, read what? There's a website called Read. Oh, here we go. I'm going way off tangent here. Read Theory. Readtheory.org. Okay, I love this website. It will give you a test at the beginning of the website that will take you about 20 to 30 minutes to do. You need to do that test so that it knows your level. And then once it has your level, it will give you texts and then followed by a few questions. So it can help you improve your level. And what it does is every time it gives you a text, if you do the text well, then and answer the questions, it will move you up slightly in the level. If you do badly, it will move you down slightly. So over time, it's all your journey, your reading journey will go up like that. Okay, one day I can do a class actually on Read Theory. We can go through some of the questions. I can show you how it works. That's something I plan to do in the future. So Read Theory for reading, yeah, for practicing your reading. Tandem for your speaking, and then there's a website called Lyrics Training. I think it's .com, but if not, I think it's .com. I can't remember. It might be .org, but try. And this is for listening. And this website gives you songs. You can find songs in English, and it will give you the lyrics under the song with words missing out. So while you're listening to the song, you then have to put in the words. It's really, really, really good. So and it's fun as well. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. So there are lots of things that you can do. Anyway, I've just gone from here to here. So let's just finish this. So we've got watched T sound because it's a unvoiced sound, as I just mentioned. Then you've got stemmed. Now, if you do the sound, it comes from your voice. So this is a voiced sound, and it has a d sound for the ed. Stemmed, watched, spanked. So this is unvoiced. The only ones that you actually say ed on are the ones that have a T or a D before the ED. So, for example, heat, Heated. That has the id sound. Heated has a T before the thing. Head, come on, when a footballer heads the ball into the net, the ball would be headed. Headed. And the reason being, if you think about it, if you tried to say heated or heated, you can't say it. Traded, doubted, yeah, all words like that. If it has a T or a D there, then you pronounce it id. If you don't, then it will either be a T or a D sound. And to be honest, you don't really have to worry about this because it comes naturally as you're speaking. Watched. It's really watched. It's a bit more difficult to say. So over time, it will just become easier to say. Anyway, back to our question. I'll just read our question out again, just for anyone else that's just arrived. Or what we're doing is we're editing this answer that someone has written. These are real answers, yeah, that I've downloaded off the internet for this particular question, which is for the first certificate of English, B2 Writing Part 1, which is a compulsory question. You write between 140 to 190 words. You have a question that is usually, you don't need specialised knowledge for. You're given 3 things you have to use in your question, and this is the question we're doing at the moment. Write an essay using all the notes, the 3 notes, and give reasons for your point of view. There are more reasons to learn a foreign language than just to pass a test. Do you agree? And you have to write an essay on that. So we've corrected the first bit here. We're now on to our second paragraph. So we just corrected this, and then I went over and then went off course on this, on the pronunciation. So now let's move back to this. Okay, not everything in life is done because it is necessary. Learning a new language can be a lot of fun. Learning a new language can be a lot of fun. That sounds okay. Conjugated. Yes, Hedge, conjugated. You're coming out with them all now. You're going to put loads and loads of different verbs in the comments so you can see it coming. So learning a new language can be a lot of fun. Many people only do it for a hobby. Many people only do it for a hobby. We see an error here? I'm sure we can. Many people only do it for a hobby. Our mistake is here. Hobby is spelt with double B. Okay, hobby. Many people only do it for a hobby. Yeah, very good, Millie. It came through just after I wrote it. It tends to do that. So many people only do it for a hobby. When you go back to England, how cold the weather feels comparative to the hot weather in Tenerife? Well, in winter, yeah, I suppose it does. I tend to wear warmer clothes, you know. But the weather here at the moment is quite warm. I'm always wearing shorts and t-shirts. That's what I live in. But yeah, when I go back to England, it does get a bit colder. I don't know what it's. I'm going back in about just over a week's time. I'm going back to see Green Day in concert. Wahey, with my daughter. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll tell you when I get back what the weather's like, or I'll tell you while I'm there, because I might do some lives while I'm there as well. Okay, so many people only do it for a hobby, or their knowledge is something that bring them pride and pleasure. Now, what do we think about this sentence? Can we write this sentence better? Or their knowledge is something that bring them pride and pleasure. Because to me, I would completely rewrite that. It sounds a bit all over the place. Not everything in life is done because it's necessary. Learning a new language can be a lot of fun. Okay. Many people only do it for a hobby. a hobby or their knowledge, I think it's supposed to be. Do it for a hobby or their knowledge. Or their knowledge is something that brings them pride and pleasure. I don't know. That sounds awful. It doesn't sound like... I don't know how to start correcting that first. To do it for a hobby or their knowledge, maybe. Or because... Maybe because increasing their knowledge is something that brings, because it's something, so it has to have the third person S, brings them pride and pleasure. That would be nicer. Many people only do it for a hobby because increasing their knowledge is something that brings them pride and pleasure. And that actually sounds like a good sentence. Yeah, it does sound better, doesn't it, now? Okay, so did we talk about personal... We talked about pleasure again here. So yes, I think between these two... We've talked about pleasure, so we've talked about number one, and number one has been done. Okay, so secondly, okay, nice start. We could have used a better start. We could have used furthermore or in addition, but secondly is fine. Or is it thirdly? I don't know. Would you call that secondly? Anyway, secondly, we have people who do it simply to challenge themselves. We have people. Well, people is a plural of person, isn't it? We have people, so that's irregular plural. We have people who do it simply to challenge themselves. So, if we're talking about a plural thing, then this has to agree as well. So it wouldn't be themselves. It would be themselves. So we take the F off. VES. Okay. So secondly, we have people who do it simply to challenge themselves. Truly, I believe that having a great outcome that stems from your hard work and dedication to learn something new is a wonderful way to challenge... Blah, blah, blah. That's very long. For a start, we've got a lot here, so can we break it up, please? Truly, I'll put a comma there. Truly, I believe that having a great outcome that stems from your hard work. I believe that having a great outcome. It sounds okay. It's correct English, but it sounds like you're trying too hard, maybe. Let's have a look. Whether anyone's... I don't think, because all the comments sometimes go a bit fast for me. Okay. Secondly, we have people who do simply that. Truly, I believe that having a great outcome, or that a great outcome stems. This level is supposed to be B2. This is a B2 question. As I said earlier, English First Certificate B2. This is an actual answer that someone wrote in an exam. Okay, it's I found it on the internet and we're correcting it. What's the meaning of stem? That stems from. Stems from means that it comes from, that it develops from something. Okay, it stems from, it develops from your hard work. So what they're saying here is, I believe that a great outcome develops from, you're welcome, Noelia, stems from your hard work and dedication to learn something new. I would put full stop here to break it up. And then we've got, is a wonderful way to challenge, prove your ability to yourself and others. Now, again, this is a bit, so if it is a wonderful way, we're going to start it as a new sentence. We could put, this is a wonderful way to challenge, prove your ability. Well, challenge and prove are sort of synonymous of each other. So which one is it? Challenge or prove? You could say challenge and prove if you want to use them both, if you want the word count. Okay, topic S. Okay, the example question, which I mentioned earlier, if you've just come in. This is for the English First Certificate B2 Writing Part 1, 150 to 190 words. Yeah. This is, so you're given an essay. You've got 3 things you have to write about, and then 2 things you have to write about, and you have to think of a third. And it's usually on something that is, you don't need specialised knowledge. Okay, so the topic, this is on learning languages on this particular one. We have done in the past, or I have done on the lives in the past, a topic on fashion, and also one on the environment. You can find those on my YouTube channel because I record my lives and put them on YouTube. This particular one, it says, write an essay using all the notes and giving reasons for your point of view. And the question is, there are more reasons to learn a foreign language than just to pass a test. Do you agree? And you have to write an essay for your English teacher for homework, it's supposed to be, using these things. So you have to talk about pleasure, you have to talk about personal challenge, and something else that is your own idea. Number 1, pleasure, has been talked about in these 2 paragraphs. Okay, at the end, I will read through the whole thing, and then I will give you a second. I'll put the phone up here so you can take a screenshot as well. Also, it will be on YouTube. So, where were we? Here we are. This is a wonderful way to challenge and prove your ability to yourself and others. That seems okay. Yeah. Now, so then we go to then there is travelling. Then there is travelling. Okay, that's all right, I suppose. I might write it a little bit differently and then say now on the subject of travelling, maybe. Or in addition, we can talk about travelling, you could say. But it's not wrong. On the other hand is a good one, yeah. I haven't heard an essay before, sorry, but what does that mean? An essay, it's when, it's basically redacción. Yeah, in Spanish it's redacción. So when you're in school or in university, when you write a redacción, it's an essay in English. Okay. So then there is travelling, okay. On the other hand, if you're travelling, or in addition, if you're travelling, it is very important to be able to understand. Well, I think something's missing there because there seem to be 2 spaces. It's very important to be able to understand because we've got to be able, which is one verb. It's the verb to be able to is can. Yeah, it's the infinitive of can in English. And then another verb, so we need to in between them. Yeah, we need to be able to. Excellent, Thomas. Yeah, we need to be able to understand and have our conversations. Well, if we've got a, then we can't have several, can we? So it's either we can have a conversation or we can have conversations. You choose. Yeah, you can have conversations. You can have many conversations, but yeah, choose which one you're going to have. I would say a conversation with someone abroad. Because if you were saying conversations with people abroad, maybe, because it'd be many conversations you're talking about. Unless you would like to get lost or worse. Okay? Unless you would like to get lost or worse. It's fine as a sentence. There is no, conversation can be singular, it can be plural, but if it's plural, then you're talking about many conversations, so it would be people. Unless you would like to get lost or worse. There's nothing wrong with the sentence. So, unless you, but I would say negative on this, unless you wouldn't. Well, I don't know. Let's think of the context of it. Understand and have a conversation with it, unless you would like to get lost or worse is correct, isn't it? Unless you would like to get lost or worse, but because it's unless, see no. Sorry, that's just me going off on one. Okay, so this paragraph, have we talked about personal challenge? Have we talked about personal challenge? Maybe here it could be considered personal challenge. Maybe. This is talking about the third thing, which is travelling. Challenge there. So yes, we have talked about personal challenge. So 1 and 2 have been done. Okay. Have we talked about something else? Then there is travelling. Would that be considered number 3, travel? I think so. Otherwise you might get lost. That's better, thank you. Unless you would like to get lost or worse. Yeah, I would. I'll have that. That's brilliant. What's your name? Bigar. Okay, thank you for that. Otherwise, lovely word. Otherwise you might get lost. That's a much nicer sentence than the one that's been put there. Lovely. Okay, so now we go into our final bit, which is our conclusion. To conclude, I think that learning a new language is an amazing thing no matter why you do. Thank you, Luli. That's for the thumbs up. To conclude, I think that learning a new language is an amazing thing no matter why you do. Can we see anything wrong there? I'm sure you all can, because you're all very clever and you keep answering all the things. Why you do. Why you do it, I would get rid of that as well. It may be, yeah, we could put, but I would put what you do. I think that learning a new language is an amazing thing no matter what you do. It is always better to do things out of enjoy. What do we think of that? It's always better to do things out of enjoy. Enjoy is a verb, yeah, so we need to make it into enjoyment, which is a noun. Out of joy, right? You could say out of joy. You could say it is always better to do things out of joy, but enjoyment is better. It is always better to do things out of enjoyment, or you could even change that to for enjoyment as well. It's a possibility that you could do out of enjoyment, but even if you do it for a test, I would change this word here, and you'd have to, I would want to change that to exam, so I'd have to put an exam. Yeah, an exam. That knowledge will also be useful. That knowledge will also be useful. I would change that, and there's a problem here as well. I would change that knowledge would also be useful. Useful has one L. Okay, all the adjectives, beautiful, useful, things like that have one L. Did a Spanish speaker write this essay? I found Spanish sentences a lot longer. I don't know. I don't know if a Spanish speaker wrote this essay or not, because it's an essay that I found on a website that someone had done, and I don't know what nationality they were. So I'll just read through it again from the top, and we'll read through the whole thing. Okay, so if we start with a quote. There are more reasons to learn foreign languages than to just pass a test. Okay. Everything around us revolves around languages. They are the most important things in our lives. Society would just not function without them. They are our future, and I would personally love to learn as many as I possibly can. Not everything in life is done because it is necessary. Learning a new language can be a lot of fun. Many people only do it for a hobby, because increasing their knowledge is something that brings them pride and pleasure. Secondly, we have people who do it simply to challenge themselves. Truly, I believe that a great outcome stems from your hard work and dedication to learn something new. This is a wonderful way to challenge and prove your ability to yourself and others. Then there is travelling, or on the subject of travelling, it is very important to be able to understand and have a conversation with someone abroad. Otherwise, you might get lost, or worse. To conclude, I think that learning a new language is an amazing thing no matter what you do. It's always better to do things out of enjoyment or for enjoyment, but even if you do it for an exam, that knowledge will always be useful, or would always be useful. Because here we go, even if you do it for a test, that knowledge will always be useful. This is a conditional sentence, isn't it? If you do it for a test, did conditionals, I think, yesterday, if you were there for the class yesterday. If you do it for a test, you do it. That knowledge will always be useful. So that looks like, which conditional is that? Do we know? Otherwise, por el contrario. Yes, otherwise. Yeah, that's correct. That was suggested by stems viene de. Yeah, that's correct. It comes from, it develops from, viene de. Yeah. So there you go. So that's our correction of B2. I'll put my phone here so you can take screenshots, give you time to clear the comments, clear your screen so you can take a screenshot. I will be uploading this once again to YouTube so that you can watch it again. Okay, you can see my YouTube at the top of the screen. You can also see it here at Isla Idiomas, the same as my TikTok, the same as my Instagram, the same as everything else, Twitch, whatever. IslaIdiomas.com is my website for my academy in Spain. Let me move my pen out of the way if you're doing a screenshot. So if you live in Tenerife, or if you are visiting Tenerife, you want classes and you're in Playa San Juan area, please pop in. I would love to see people. Even if you just want to pop in and say hi, don't mind. Classroomgames.net is the website for materials. I make a lot of my own materials. I upload them. I make games that you can play to learn English by. I do this for other teachers, but also people that are learning English can actually just download, print off, laminate. A lot of the stuff that's on there can be used. If you've got children, I teach a lot of children as well. There are lots of children's games. I have on my computer at home, on my hard drive, thousands of different features, and I'm going through it all slowly but surely, and trying to put it on this website and maybe put it all together in a book that could be downloaded so you can practice with this stuff. And everything that I put on my website, I put it on for free for the first 6 months. And then after 6 months, it's only like €1 or €2. And that's just so that maybe in the future I can start making a bit of money out of it. You know, if like hundreds of people download it, then fair enough, maybe I'll actually make something out of it. But otherwise, it's not my main aim to make money out of these things. Okay, I make enough in my classes. But yeah, feel free to go on there, download stuff. It's all there for you to use. If you follow me, then whenever I upload new things, I put them on TikTok usually. I announce it on TikTok and say, look, I've just put this game on. This is how you play it. It's free to download. Is that good or not for B2? I work in English, so it will come in handy. Excellent. Yeah, if you do, then go on the website. Everything, you know, because I believe that people should share stuff. They should help each other out. They should share stuff. So if you enjoy my classes, if you enjoy what I do, please follow, because as I said at the beginning, I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers as soon as possible, so that any money I get from the Creator Fund I can use to fund classes for people that can't afford them. Because I don't know whether you've heard on the news that there've been protests. There've been protests all over. There've been protests in Ibiza as well, but the protests here, and it's generally the protests are down to the fact that the wages for people here are like €1,300 a month average, and a lot of people cannot. You cannot follow me. Why can't you follow me? Yeah. So basically, what I want to do is try and fund classes using TikTok, because it costs no one anything. You know, it doesn't cost anyone. It gives you an unexpected error. I have no idea why. It's been your first experience. Well, I've done quite a few lives, and I'm going to start because actually the lives are picking up a bit. We're getting quite a few people commenting and coming in now. I'm going to start doing escape games, because I really love escape games. And I have some that I can do online that we can do using the comments section. So if you follow along for that, I have to write them first. I have one that I've written in the past, but once you use them, you can't use them again. So I will be doing them. I've got one that was written by someone else, but really I'd prefer to write my own materials. But yeah, anyway, so that's it for today. I'm going to go home now. I have got another live scheduled for Saturday, I do believe. If you look on my profile, it will tell you when the events are. You could subscribe to them. I usually put on a video about half an hour before I go on, announcing that the live is about to start. So if you're following me, then that will come up on your feed. But anyway, nice to see you all. I'm an ESL teacher. You're giving back. Great, thank you. Yeah, lots of us around. Anyway, yeah, thank you for everyone that came in, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you on Saturday. And yeah, leave me messages, send me a comment, whatever. Have a nice day.